Founded in 1982, the National Defense University Foundation has been an important part of the evolution of National Defense University and the United States national security policy. National Defense University Foundation has been steadfast in its efforts to ensure the viability of the academic and professional development program of the university. In the early 1980s, the foundation supported the education of students against the backdrop of Cold War era engagements. As the American military emerged from the Cold War, military doctrine, technology, and policy became increasingly sophisticated and more focused on joint and interagency missions and peacekeeping operations. So too did the missions and initiatives of the National Defense University Foundation. The post-Cold War era ushered in pivotal conflicts such as the Persian Gulf War. This conflict demonstrated the value of joint, interagency, and coalition partnerships to achieve national and global security objectives. Joint, interagency, and coalition partnerships are also an integral component of the university's student base and the primary benefactor of National Defense University Foundation's efforts. The next major evolution in the American national security apparatus came in the post-9/11 war on terror. The foundation was uniquely positioned to bring together the domestic and global thought leaders and continues to shape the National Defense University for the modern era.
The mission of NDU is to develop leaders who have the ability to think creatively and to operate independently in an increasingly challenging and dynamic world.
People hear about NDU and they say, oh, they're studying to be war fighters and the strategy of war and tactics. That's only one aspect.
There are the other sides, the economic, the diplomatic, the political, of course. What National Defense University does is it affects the transition between operational responsibilities to strategic responsibilities.
Foreign Service, Department of State, CIA, Homeland Security, the industrial base.
Department of Treasury has been represented, Department of Commerce, Department of Energy. We are truly joint in every sense. We take great pride in bringing to the fore all the instruments of power in one classroom setting.
It is of strategic importance not just to the military but to the country. It is a university that has produced so many leaders in all our services and in fact in services around the world.
The National Defense University Foundation has been an extraordinary partner for us as we have worked to achieve our objectives.
The National Defense University is fundamental to providing context, connections, and resources that really enhances the program of National Defense University writ large.
Our goal is to provide that margin of excellence that's needed for our students to make a significant impact for national security in the United States and around the world.
The foundation really is the nexus between the public and the private sector.
The relationships that the NDU Foundation makes, in particular with corporate America, is so vitally important.
Corporations that invest in the National Defense University are in the conversation. The Boeing Company invests in NDU in two ways. We use our intellectual property here, but the one that I think is more powerful, we facilitate visits to our various industrial sites around the country for both domestic and international. And we're able to show the students in a case study seminar format the particulars behind United States manufacturing.
We get out on production floors, we get into laboratories, and we are very well hosted in that regard.
And so having the insight from some of these corporate partners really helps our students' education.
The various theories and the various case studies that we did has given me a greater insight into how different countries, different organizations looked at problems and solved problems.
The world is very different today from what it was in December of 1989 when I arrived here. And we need to do as much as possible to really preserve the security and the future of the United States.
It is key that we preserve and protect our innovation base and our industrial base in the United States. And particularly in this era of great power competition, we need to make sure that we understand the threats to those two bases and how we can protect those threats and preserve the competitive advantage the United States has in the world.
This is a good place for us to have those conversations and begin to build that interoperability, if you will.
So we're working hard to ensure that the university is preparing the kind of critical thinkers and strategic leaders that the nation needs. And we're hard at work now to revise the university's strategic plan to ensure our ability to deliver on that.
We need bold, innovative thinkers who can step back and say, here's where we want to go and here's how we get there.
National security and diplomacy has evolved over the past 35 years, and with each major change, the National Defense University Foundation has been a steadfast supporter. Now, with an eye to the future, the Foundation is supporting educational opportunity that continues to expand domestic and international joint national security and peacekeeping efforts.